They told you to chase happiness. He warned happiness has teeth. She always smiled in public, like the pain didn't live behind her eyes. Emma was 32. Clean apartment, clean record, cleaner lies. She told herself she was free, independent, modern. But every night, she'd sit on the edge of her bed, scroll through old photos, and feel the weight of something unexplainable. Not sadness, not depression, something old, something darker. Like her soul remembered a truth her brain had long buried. Then she found a book, secondhand, torn at the edges. Its title was simple, Man and His Symbols. She didn't know who Carl Jung was, just another dead philosopher, she thought. But the book wasn't full of abstract rambling. It felt like it was watching her. Each page pulled her into a mirror, and the face staring back wasn't hers. It started with a dream, a forest, a wolf, a bleeding mirror. Then came the questions. Why did she keep dating men who mirrored her father's cold distance? Why did she laugh in rooms she hated? Why did she feel lonelier in crowds than when alone? Jung called it the shadow, the buried self we pretend doesn't exist. The part of you that wants things society tells you to kill. Emma had killed her shadow long ago, told herself she was over it. But Jung warned, what you repress doesn't die, it waits. And one night, it came back. She had a dream that wasn't a dream. She was in her childhood home, walking down the hallway, barefoot, the carpet damp with something dark. At the end of the hall was a door she'd never opened. Inside, her mother sat crying, but with Emma's face. She woke up screaming, and then she remembered. The night her father hit her. The moment her mother looked away. Not all ghosts wear sheets. Some wear silence. The next day, she didn't go to work. She wrote, scribbled pages like a woman possessed. Not for Instagram. Not for healing. For truth. Jung had warned most people will do anything, to avoid facing their own soul. Emma was done running. But the shadow wasn't the only thing Jung spoke of. There was the anima, the unconscious feminine inside every man. The animus, the unconscious masculine in every woman. And Emma realized she had never met a man. Only boys trapped in armor. Afraid of feeling. Afraid of softness. Afraid of her. Every date was a script. Same jokes. Same fear behind the eyes. They didn't want a partner. They wanted a mother. Jung's truth wasn't just dark. It was blasphemy in a world that glorified surface-level happiness. He said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Emma wept. Not because she was broken, but because she had been living a lie and calling it freedom. No more. She would confront every lie, every mask, every demon that looked like her. With crystals. Not with therapy memes, but with brutal, honest reflection. She turned the page and saw the line that would haunt her forever. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But what if you've been pretending for so long, you no longer know who that is? Emma stopped watching Netflix, stopped scrolling, stopped pretending. Instead, she watched herself, like a scientist observing an unstable subject. She noticed the smile she wore when meeting friends she hated, the way her voice softened when talking to men, even the ones she didn't respect. The way she said, I'm fine. It was muscle memory. It was all an act. Jung called it the persona, the social mask you wear to survive. You think it's your identity, but it's just camouflage. Emma realized she had built her life on a stage. Every role rehearsed, every line memorized, even the tears were timed. But the scary part, she didn't know where the mask ended, and she began. Jung warned, the persona is a system of behavior created for the world. It's not the true self. She had buried her real self so deep, even she couldn't hear it scream. One night, she went back to the book, and there it was, the line that hit like a bullet. You meet your destiny on the road you take to avoid it. Her stomach dropped, because she remembered something. When she was a kid, she used to draw dark things. Things her mother tore up and said, this isn't you. Don't be weird. She stopped drawing after that. She learned to smile instead. Learned to be lovable. Learned to be marketable. Jung believed that's how the soul dies, death by performance. Emma realized she had become a product, curated, filtered, palatable, but her soul, it wanted war. The more she peeled back the mask, the more terrifying it became. Because under the persona wasn't peace, it was chaos, rage, lust, envy, shame, everything she thought she'd outgrown. Jung never promised healing would be pretty. He said it would be violent. She started journaling in ink that looked like blood. Started painting again, the kind of art that made her uncomfortable. She looked in the mirror and whispered, "I see you," to the reflection, to what lived beneath it, and the dreams got worse. One night, she was underwater, screaming, but no sound came out. Fish with human eyes watched her drown. A child version of her sat on the seabed, grinning. She woke up soaked in sweat, heart racing, reality bent. Jung called this the individuation process, the journey of integrating every part of yourself. Just the light, especially the dark. It's not self-love, it's self-reckoning. She started seeing patterns in everyone around her. The friend always chasing emotionally unavailable men. The guy always cracking jokes, scared to cry. The influencer preaching peace while burning inside. They were all fractured and pretending not to be. She couldn't unsee it. She realized why Jung said the greatest danger isn't war. It's the unconscious individual, the person who doesn't know what lives inside them. Because what's repressed leaks into politics, into relationships, into violence. And now, her own leak was flooding. She felt like she was being reborn, but not into a better version, into a realer one, strict, messy, honest. There was one more thing Jung had said, one she had ignored till now. The world will ask you who you are, and if you don't know, it will tell you. Emma had let the world define her for 3 decades, no more. Emma stopped believing in healing. It wasn't a journey, it was an exorcism. The more real she became, the more the world looked fake. Office conversations felt scripted. Friendships felt transactional. Even love started to feel like theater. She was unlearning everything she thought she was. Jung had warned, when you start waking up, the first thing you feel is rage, because the world lied to you, told you to be yourself, then punished you for doing it. She felt like a prisoner with the keys now, and the scariest part, she wasn't sure if she wanted to leave the cell. Freedom means responsibility. It means owning your trauma without blaming your parents forever. It means facing the monster inside you and admitting you kinda like it. Jung called it the confrontation with the self, the truest, rawest core of your psyche. Not the ego, not the identity, not the trauma, but the eternal thing beneath it all. He said the self wasn't just you, it was you, plus the unconscious. The entire system, your darkness, your divinity, your contradictions. Emma stood on that threshold and realized she was no longer scared of the dark, she was becoming it. The final dream came like a prophecy. She stood in a vast desert, sunless, moonless, an ocean of black sand, and there, in the distance, a mirror again. But this time, when she looked in, she didn't see her reflection, she saw millions of faces, old, young, dead, alive, her ancestors, her lovers, her abusers, her unborn children, all staring back. And she heard a whisper, not from the mirror but from inside her spine, "You are not just a person, you are a pattern." She woke up laughing, not a happy laugh, a mad one, because she understood. Now, Jung's darkest truth wasn't about shadows or personas or dreams. It was this: you are not who you think you are. You're a system of stories, a haunted archive of every generation before you, and until you face that, you're just a puppet. Emma deleted all her social media, threw out half her clothes, quit the job, stopped pretending she had goals. She didn't need purpose, she needed clarity. And then, she was gone. Not literally. She still walked the streets, still bought coffee, still answered emails. But she was different, detached, present, unshakable. Someone who knew too much. She started to see people for what they really were, not identities, not careers, not genders or traumas, just masks, cracking under the weight of repressed truth. and she smiled. Not the old smile, but the fake one. The smile of someone who knows the darkness is home, and finally, feels safe in it. Weeks passed. Emma stopped explaining herself, stopped debating, stopped needing to be understood. She'd become fluent in silence. Not the silence of sadness. The silence of someone who's finally met their own soul, and made peace with its violence. She no longer judged anyone. Not the liars, not the narcissists, not the victims. Because she saw what Jung saw. Everyone's possessed, not by demons, but by unexamined trauma. By childhood wounds wearing adult clothes. By unconscious fears, pulling invisible strings. Jung said the human psyche wasn't just complicated, it was mythical. A living myth. You are not just a mind in a body. You are a symbol, a walking dream, a story trying to remember its author. Emma started seeing herself that way, not as Emma, the individual, but as the dream her ancestors never got to finish, and somewhere in that terrifying freedom, she felt peace. Real peace. Not dopamine, not distraction, but the stillness that comes after chaos. Carl Jung didn't want to make people happy, he wanted them awake. He believed true growth begins only when the ego breaks, when the masks fall, when the mirror shatters, and you realize the monster was you all along. But it was never evil, it was just exile. Emma's journey isn't rare, it's just hidden. Because the world teaches you how to fake it better, not how to feel it deeper. But if you're watching this now, you've already felt the glitch. That tug in your gut that says, something's wrong with this world. And maybe, something's wrong with me too. That's where it starts. Not with self-love, with self-honesty. And if you're brave enough to look at the truth, Jung's dark, terrifying, liberating truth, you might not be happier, but you'll finally be real. And that's worth everything.